Alright, here we go into the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Look, not the greatest performance, but these are the type of performance, if you can squeeze out a victory, it just shows the character of the team growing. Look, stay tuned for the whole match analysis. If you've enjoyed the video at the end of it, smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content, and yes, enjoy the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the other side of the coin. As you can see, a different background. I thought I'd come into my lounge room and do a show from here just to change things up. Hope you guys enjoy this. So look, fantastic result. We're off to the semi-finals of the FA Cup, giving ourselves an opportunity to win a silverware this season, which is going to be honestly the cherry on top of this wonderful cake this is turning out to be. And it's looking like a really good season so far. Yet another victory. And what I really enjoyed about this particular win was that we weren't at our best and we still squeezed out a victory, which is so important. That just tells me the kind of mentality that Frank Lampard is trying to instill in the minds of the players, trying to turn them into champion players, I suppose, players that only dream and breathe about winning silverware. So look, before I get into the whole match, I want to talk about the starting lineup first. Then I want to talk about the match itself. I want to talk about the player performances, certain players and certain players that didn't feature as well. I want to talk about that. And a little bit about Frank Lampard, and then finish it off with obviously our next match in the FA Cup in the semi-finals, which is Man United. It just does my head to think that we could lose 4 times to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't want to think about it. We'll get to that. So first of all, starting lineup, guys. Look, honestly, when I first saw the starting lineup, I thought, wow, this is decent. It wasn't the starting lineup that I probably expected. Certain players, like I thought Kepa would play. I didn't think Caballero would get an opportunity. I definitely didn't think Emerson would play. Didn't think Didn't think Kovacic would start. I thought it would be Billy Gilmour, Kante, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And yeah, 100% expected Tammy to start. Probably expected Willian to start as well, and Reece James. And also Zuma, probably I expected him to start because I thought, definitely one of Rudiger or Christensen was going to get a bit of time off. So overall, it wasn't a huge surprise besides a couple of players, as I've mentioned. So I wasn't one bit worried. I wasn't worried like all these other fans out there thinking, oh, here we go. Frank's just produced another, crazy starting lineup. But I thought it was a decent lineup and a lineup that could beat Leicester with the form that we're in. And winning becomes a habit and it becomes contagious. Once you start winning, all you want to do is just keep on winning. So I thought it didn't matter the changes we've made. We're just going to go out there. And knowing that Leicester was in a bit of a poor form, I thought, we definitely had enough. So in terms of the starting lineup, I thought no problems at all. Now getting into the match, wow. As soon as the match started, Leicester was just off the blocks like a, ball of fire, to be honest. They were just pressing on top of every second ball, just really making our life so difficult. We couldn't breathe in that first half. Probably the first 20 minutes or so, we simply couldn't breathe. Finally, we got some opportunities, in the first half where we started to play our game. But the first, I'd say at least 20 minutes, Leicester was just pressing us so hard. Players like Billy Gilmour was making mistakes, and I don't want to have a massive go, but he was making mistakes, and it wasn't just him. Reece James looked like lackluster as well, and overall there wasn't any cohesion in our play. Frank Lampard, apparently there's a quote that's going around that Frank Lampard said at halftime that none of those guys deserve to wear the Chelsea badge. So he really gave them a big kick up the backside, and they finally listened. Came second half, made those changes. Once again, Frank, fantastic with those changes. He didn't just sit around, made the changes. And the match changed. Kovacic was probably the instigator. His energy straight away from the second half was so important. He really got stuck into Leicester. And, off the back of that, the rest of the team carried on. And eventually we saw the goal. Overall, look, there were many other opportunities. We had one opportunity, Pulisic, where it was a nice build-up. And he had a clear shot at goals and he took it. but it was brilliantly saved by Schmeichel. He probably could have gone a bit wider, but nonetheless, Pulisic was fantastic. The way he was gliding and dribbling the whole time, I kept on thinking that was Hazard. It just looked so much like him. It's far more direct. Hazard does sort of tend to go sideways, and this isn't any disrespect towards Hazard. This is different styles, but Pulisic goes a lot direct. But yeah, overall, I think I was really look. The performance wasn't great. Our first half performance was very, very lackluster. Several players didn't show up. That's why we saw 3 players getting subbed out at halftime. Reece James was lackluster. Maybe he's not fully fit as yet. Mason Mount looked out of energy. Did he really need to start? Look, I'm starting to think, I can't really imagine a team without Mason Mount. He's that important, and I'm not having a go at Frank Lampard like other, fans out there who tend to think, oh, it's all favoritism. No, I don't think it's favoritism at all. I genuinely think Mason Mount is a key component to this team in terms of his energy and pressing. The way we play, it depends on his initial press and trying to win the ball up front. So he's become a really important part. So I would have rested him, but I can understand why Frank plays him. He's played the most minutes for us in this season so far. So I understand why he played, but maybe in hindsight, he probably shouldn't have played. He looked a little bit out of energy. Billy Gilmour, as I said, made several mistakes, but he's young. He'll learn from it. And there were just other, Tammy, I felt like, just didn't link up enough with Pulisic, and Willian was in and out of the game. So, overall, it wasn't the greatest performance from us, but we still managed to get a result. Second half, obviously, Azpilicueta was fantastic as well. So we managed to get a result, and this is what I like about this team and the mentality that Frank's trying to change, in the sense that even when we're not playing our best, we are trying to get a result out of it. A 1-0, a clean sheet, and a result. Fantastic. So overall, yes, not the greatest performance, and we can improve on a lot of things, but the resilience and the manner of how we ended up winning, fantastic, and taking us to semi-finals. Now, let's talk about some player performances. I know I've touched on some already, but let's just go through the whole field and really try and understand how each of them played. First of all, Willy Caballero. Now, look, he's made some really fine saves during that match. He was called upon quite a few times early in the match and some in the second half, but he makes me nervous. He makes me so nervous. There was a moment, I think, in the second half where a particular cross came in, and he went for the punch. He completely missed the punch, and luckily enough, Soyuncu, he didn't put that ball in the back of the net. So really, really thankful for that situation. Back 4 in the first half, Reece James, as I said, I think he's really, really needs to step up, whether it's injury, whether he's not fully fit. He looked so lethargic. Every time we went with the ball on the right side, he didn't have the zippiness in him. He wasn't quick enough to carry out the plan. So hopefully he comes back strong. Rudiger and Zouma, for me, honestly, a lot of people are having a go that they struggled in the beginning, but I feel like they struggled in the beginning because of our midfield and our forward sections really not able to handle the pressure of Leicester, and it put a lot of pressure on our defenders. Already puts them in the back foot. Our midfielders losing the ball, and then Leicester's directly into the channel of our defenders. And Leicester didn't miss a trick. Every time we had a missed time pass, they went straight through the middle and really tried to penetrate our defense. So I can't really say Zouma and Rudiger had a bad game. I felt they've done all right in that game. They were put in a situation, they dealt with it eventually, and overall I thought they had a decent game. Yes, Zouma could be a bit nerve-wracking at times, and same with Rudiger. They all have a certain level of error-proneness in them, but overall, I thought they did all right. Emerson on the left-back area, look, he did a job at the end of the day. I didn't expect him to start, but I guess, when Azpilicueta and Alonso have played, 2 games after the restart and probably deserved a bit of rest, it was only going to be obvious that Emerson starts. But for me, Emerson didn't provide enough going forward. We needed him to push and overlap and really provide something for the forwards going forward. But defensively, he kept it quiet. But I think, honestly, I really can't see this player staying in Chelsea for too long. I think his time's up. Even though it was an okay performance, but his time's up. In the midfield, Billy Gilmour, Mason Mount and Kante. Kante is the deepest midfielder. Once again, we're seeing this. So this is not a trend anymore. This is 100% legitimate that we are playing with a 6 now, the lone DM. The only thing I have an issue with Kante is that he needs to improve his passing. He's a great person to have in the base to look after our defense. He helped out a lot with the early pressures of Leicester when they were pressing us. He helped out the defense massively with his athleticism and his quickness. I think someone like Jorginho would have really struggled, but then some people could say if someone like Jorginho could have helped us manage the midfield and managed to keep us more possession. And this is where I feel Kante needs to improve. His passing was again not in sync, and doesn't have a variety of passes as well. But nonetheless, he's done his defensive job, which is what he truly gets paid for. He just needs to improve a little bit on the passing. Mason Mount and Billy Gilmour, I think, Billy Gilmour especially, just too many errors, too many mistimed passes, which put the team into really, really massive stress. But nothing against him. I think this is a learning curve. You can't have really good games after good games after good games every time. This was perfect for him. You could see when he was subbed off, there was some footage that was showing, zooming into him, and he was quite upset with his performance. So hopefully he learns from this. Hopefully Frank can, sort of nurture him and make him understand that these things happen, and hopefully he gets better on it. Mason Mount, as I said, I think he was out of energy, and I probably wouldn't have started him. So nothing against him. Hopefully he comes back fresh in the next game against West Ham. And moving in the forward pack area, Pulisic, my God, as I said, his dribbling, he was our most lethal player. I think it can be 100% said that he's our biggest threat going forward. He is our best player at the moment. So, fantastic. There was a little bit of injury that happened. Hopefully it's, slight and he comes back quick. I'd be devastated if we lose out on Pulisic, even for one match. He hasn't had enough of injuries. I hope he's fully fit. Tammy up front, I don't know. Look, a lot of people were saying he was decent. He did held up. His hold up play was pretty good. His link up was good. But for me, I don't know. Sometimes I feel his movements are not crisp enough. When Pulisic has got the ball and he's dribbling, I want to see Tammy make diagonal runs or some sort of movement to create space or create an option for someone like Pulisic or even Willian. He just doesn't do that enough. Hopefully he will get better at that. Maybe it's because he hasn't played in recent times enough. And his positioning, I just feel like sometimes he's not in the right place. As a striker, it's just, it comes naturally, and it doesn't seem to come naturally to him to be in the right place. But look, hopefully he improves. I can see a reason why Giroud is starting more in front of him in recent times. I can see why Frank's doing that. Willian, as I said, tweeted out just before the match, it seems to be that whenever he's got the armband on, he tends to put a good performance. Look, today I think he was a decent performer. There were some ifs and buts here and there, in terms of his decision making once again, sometimes his energy. But overall, look, his backtracking, his work rate, most times are fantastic. And obviously, he produced that cross for Ross Barkley to score. Now with the substitute, first of all, fantastic work from Frank Lampard. This is what I'm seeing from Frank in the last few games, just before the lockdown and just after the lockdown. He's improved his in-game management so much. He's not waiting for, things to happen and then he'll make it. He's proactive about his changes, bringing in players like Ross Barkley and Kovacic and Azpilicueta. Perfect substitution. Azpilicueta, with the impetus he was providing on the right side, defensively and offensively, was fantastic. Ross Barkley with the goal. He had several other opportunities, honestly, and just didn't make good decisions. There was one particular one that was 4-on-2. He could have picked a pass on the left, could have picked a pass on the right. It just did not end up doing anything. And Frank was absolutely livid about that. And there was, I think, a couple other opportunities for him. But Kovacic as well, when he came straight off the bench, second half, straight off the whistle, he was just buzzing. He was, that's the kind of energy I want to see from Kovacic. If he's going to play number 8, that's the level of energy that you want to see from Kovacic. Really digging into tackles, really pressing hard, receiving the ball deep, driving. So, from that perspective, really, really good. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, look, I'm just glad he's getting some minutes, and he deserves to get some minutes. I'm not going to have any go at him because he's still trying to find his way in. And that's fantastic. So I think in terms of players, I've pretty much covered more or less. Might have missed out on a few players here and there, but I think more or less I've got it. Frank Lampard, as I said, guys, he's improving for me so much. The resilience of this team to win like that, it just shows that Frank is really starting to get into the brains of our players and trying to instill that attitude of, having that champion attitude that even when you're playing bad, we still need to get results, and we're doing that. And as I said, his in-game management and even his starting lineups are starting to look really, really well. And lastly, guys, now that match, as I said, it's gone. We're into the semi-finals. We're moving into the Man United game, and this is where I honestly, 3 times we've lost against Man United this season. I cannot handle another loss. Please, Chelsea, win this one for me and for the rest of the fans. The amount of banter we're going to cop, it's already started. Lots of Man United fans out there started to say, oh, here comes the 4th nail in the coffin. Honestly, can't handle it. We need to win this and go to the final. I don't care who it is in the final, but we need to beat Man United, please. And I think, we've always had the team to beat them. So hopefully we get them. It's at Wembley. I'm not really sure when it is. I'll let you guys know very soon. But yeah, guys, that's a wrap about the whole match. Let me know what you thought about the starting lineup. Let me know what you thought about some of our player performances. Would you have used anyone else? How do you think Ross Barkley went? How do you think, Billy Gilmore, Mason Mount, Pulisic, all the other players that I've talked about? Let me know. Let's have a healthy discussion. And guys, if you're here for the first time, subscribe and smash the like button, guys. I need all the likes possible. Thank you so much for helping me on my last video get my targeted likes. Please help me get to at least 70 likes this time. And yeah, enjoy this video. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, see you.